Hi, I'm Dan.
I'm Erica, and we have Butter Will Travel.
One of the things we get asked by our family and friends a lot is how do we stay connected when we're travelling?
Yes, so we don't like to solely rely on Wi-Fi because that can get a little bit frustrating, and particularly if we want to be using the internet to access maps, to use directions and that type of thing, or post to social media, we like to have the internet all the time.
So what we do is we get a SIM card that will work in the countries that we're travelling to.
You don't want to be using your regular Australian mobile plan while you're overseas because it can really rack up quickly and get super expensive.
Especially if you're using data.
So one cool thing that we just found out on this trip is that with the new iPhone, so I think it's 10 and we have a 10S or XS, you can actually have a dual SIM. So before we went away, we went to Optus, who's our mobile provider, and asked them to give us an eSIM. So that means we don't actually need a SIM card in our phone from Optus for our plan. It's an eSIM, like an electronic SIM. And that means that we can have our Optus SIM card, like our Optus eSIM on our phone, and also our travel SIM card. So you can have two plans going at once.
The reason we like that is it means we can stay connected if someone needs to call us or text us on our regular line.
So in
that's
case
available.
of emergency, you do have that option there, but you just put the settings in your phone that you want to use the travel SIM as your primary number while you're here.
The other thing we did is we just turned off the mobile data for our personal SIM, and that way we're not risking using that at all. So what we did for our Europe trip was we pre-bought a SIM card that got posted to us in Australia. The company that I used was SIM Corner, and they have a plan that we chose for 39 Australian dollars. It gave us 12 gig of data and it lasts for 30 days. So really pretty handy for most of the travel that you're going to be doing.
12 gig is quite a lot if you're just using it for like browsing the internet and using maps. So I think it's more than enough for most people. We really like getting the SIM before we go. Particularly on this trip, we were coming to places that we hadn't been before, so we like to be able to hit the ground running at the airport. We can put our SIM card in, we've got internet straight away. If we want to use an Uber or a ride sharing app, or if we need to use maps or public transport to get around, we like having it with us rather than having to go and find somewhere that sells SIMs, work out what all the different plans are, and having to deal with that, particularly after a long day of traveling from Australia to anywhere in the world. We just find that is easy. It makes it easy for us.
Yeah. The plan that we bought also allows for hotspotting, which is super important for us because yes, we've had two SIMs, one each, but it hasn't covered our full trip. So we have needed to use the hotspot on occasion. You can also buy one SIM and your family member use the hotspot if you want to do it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, so what that means is just like one person's using the other person's phone basically as Wi-Fi,
yeah.
Right?
SIM Corner do have other options. They're not just in Europe. They do have a US option.
When we've been to the US before, we have bought other prepaid SIM cards that have been sent to us at home through other companies. So there's plenty of ones out there. SIM Corner is just one that we've found has been useful and it's always worked. We've never had any problems getting the SIM card working when we've arrived. But what we've been doing the last couple of trips is using T-Mobile.
So when we arrive, we find the closest T-Mobile, we go there and we sign up for their tourist plan. We usually get, again, two because we like to both be connected, and it's $30 for 2 gig and it lasts for 21 days. We have found that has worked for us most of the time we've done trips to the US. A lot of the time we're on Wi-Fi when we're in the hotel or the accommodation and we just need that little bit. 2 gig seems to work okay for the periods we've been to be able to have it when we're out and about.
Yeah, admittedly we've probably not been there the full 21 days, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and it's worked fine for us, and that's $30 US. But it's super easy. You just go into a T-Mobile store, you just have to sign up. They fix it all up for you and make sure it's all working before you leave. And we've done that in Hawaii and Los Angeles and New York. So
those kind of places, they sell a lot of them, so they're super confident in what they need to do, and it doesn't take long at all.
And when we arrive in Boston on Tuesday, we'll be going straight to T-Mobile again. So if you're traveling overseas and you're wondering how it works with your phone and everything, we hope that you found this useful. I highly recommend pre-ordering the SIM Corner one, particularly if it's your first trip overseas, because you've just got that security of knowing. And to be honest, I think for like 40 Australian dollars, it is so worth it.
We hope you found this video useful. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.